Brave souls, welcome to the center of your entertainment galaxy. I am your GM in the Great Barrier, the GM of many characters but one voice, and we are here broadcasting Star Trek Adventures Aegis. We are back today for part 2 of our second episode of our second season, Land More Solitary. So, we welcome you in with the cast today. Before we get into the briefest of recaps here to start off, I do just have a couple announcements. First and foremost, it is our hope that this Tuesday we will in fact run another Broken Sword game there. For those keeping up with social media, once again, just a few issues on our end, very specifically my end, but I'm working to combat that as much as I can so that we can get that back onto a regular schedule. I'll keep you guys posted and just do our best to keep things going there. But let's see. Other than that, I of course would be remiss not to shout out some of our friends in that game. In particular, one friend of the channel, the Overland Gamer, who, among other projects here, is of course does some streaming of his own, and is also our own resident Mr. Azek Korg in the Broken Sword game, so we hope you enjoy that. And one final note that should be all visible to you at this point, I have made things a little bit easier for those of you that watch live and want to contribute to the games, so spending points of momentum and threat. We now have trackers up that I'm steadily improving the momentum and threat spends, but you can actually see on stream where we are, so you know what our players know at this point. So with all of that, we hope that helps improve your watching experience and keeping up to date on everything. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the adventure. When last we left off, the crew has been out for about a month on their expedition, Operation Ithaca, a long-range exploratory mission encouraged by the captain, and that is set off to map out the unknown, strange new worlds, new civilizations, make friends, find technologies that could help Earth, find new allies, and just generally push on that final frontier. At this point, you are still in what is nominally well-explored space, and you had stopped about in the middle of nowhere after a slight engine malfunction. But that afforded you the opportunity to pick up a very weak distress call coming from the nearby star system of Groombridge 34. You arrived in orbit and found an icy, uninhabitable world that seems to have a crashed ship just barely broadcasting its distress beacon. It is, as far as you can tell, the last ship of a doomed private exploratory line. The ship, the Ada Blackjack, was lost about between 2 years ago, really closer to 1.5, looking over the revised calendar on that. And nothing has been heard from it since. It also disappeared some tens of light years away from this position, so it's a mystery how it could have wound up here. You've decided to investigate. An away team, led by Lieutenant Shira, has set off towards the planet, and you discovered this crash site here. You've discovered this crash site here, where by all indications, the beacon was just barely receiving some power from elsewhere in the ship. When you actually made it inside the vessel, you found that although it is somewhat unstable, there does seem to be some power to it still. It's still at least mostly intact, insulated. It's shielding from the harsh environment on the outside, which is much colder, and it is much colder, and it is very highly pressurized, as well as an unbreathable atmosphere. Having boarded through an airlock, you found your way on the highest deck, where your away team, which consisted of yourself, Shira, Commander Marcus Horn, Lieutenant Commander Romanov, Lieutenant Milyuk, the new science officer, and Dr. Xantar. You had found yourself on that first deck, and you were starting to investigate some rooms. However, there was the sound of metal groaning, which gave you the suggestion that the ship is less stable than you thought it initially was. When you attempted to move on out, a part of the hull collapsed beneath you. Though most were able to escape, Lieutenant Milyuk has fallen through the collapsed deck plating and has fallen to the deck below. So that is where we will start off. Lieutenant Commander Shira, you look around in the relative darkness, the light from your suit, and any hand lights that you have, just giving you enough of a sense of what's going on to assess the situation. You see most of your away team is here. They are probably a little frazzled, but still, they seem uninjured for the most part. All their equipment is intact. The environment around you, although the deck plating had given way in that segment immediately behind you, it seems as though everything else is, at least for the moment, stable. But there is the crucial officer of an officer that you have just lost.
Okay, so did we last session bring climbing gear with us?
I declared that I brought climbing gear because I was concerned something like this might happen.
Okay.
I believe that Romanov is correct, and that you had spent momentum to that effect.
We
Excellent.
did. Good. I brought good shit.
Okay.
So.
Shira will look across to Romanov and say, let's go. Get the climbing gear, tie it off onto something sturdy, and then clip it onto me.
Okay.
In the meantime, Shira's going to try to shine her, I guess, wrist torch down there and just see if she can see the lieutenant.
And I'm doing an engineering analysis of the best place to put my anchors, right? I'm going to make sure that we've got it, it's good. It's a reinforced anchor job. I'm not just putting one anchor point in. I'm putting two.
Fair enough. So let's see. Romanov, I'm going to ask you for a task here. This will be let's call this control plus engineering. I am going to spend 1 point of threat to increase your complication range by 1, so a 19 or a 20 will complicate.
Okay. We do have 4 points of momentum to spend.
Oh yes.
Okay.
My count was
momentum.
My count was not properly up to date there, so let me fix the counters just real quick. So that should be. How much are you spending first, Brian?
Okay. So we have 4, and this is my role to create the anchor point and assess everything, right?
Yes.
Can I reduce the difficulty by first scanning the area with an engineering tricorder? And I'm looking at density, strength, how I'm looking for that rock under the ice, really.
Well.
Or the strongest point, and then I'll make my engineering roll. I guess I'm asking, could a tricorder reduce difficulty slightly?
I will let you... tell you what, I will let you... I will grant you an advantage there. Basically, let's call this a... I'll reduce the difficulty to 1 for that with the engineering tricorder. I think that is what that mostly does. So, That will be
Okay,
a
and then I'm
difficulty
going to
one.
spend. Sweet. And I'll do one. I'm going to spend one momentum. That means I'm rolling 3 dice. And let's see if I've got anything. I don't. If you guys want me to roll more, I will. But I figured 1 dice will probably do it.
Well, you can roll 2 d20. I mean, you're rolling the default of 2 d20s there. It's
Right.
or you just
2d20. And then I'm buying 1 extra die.
I see. I misunderstood.
For
Okay.
total. And for a total of 3.
Yep.
And I don't believe I have any focuses that apply. But what do you want? Engineering and
Control, please.
Control. Control. You must learn control. Okay.
Nah, it's overrated.
It's overrated. Okay, here we go then. 3 dice, task roll, control and engineering.
Well done.
Okay.
Nice.
She's good at this on the fly stuff.
Okay.
Okay, you're rigged.
All right.
And there's
Sorry. That is 3 successes there. I'm going to just go ahead and quickly deal that out to you. Yes, as
Ooh, nice.
as Romanov says, she finds a hardened point in the superstructure that you can safely link to, Shira.
Okay, Shira's gonna shine her torch down, see where Melnick fell.
Ah, yes. From the look that you get down there, it looks as though beneath the deck, or in the deck below that, there is a gaping hole that takes it down further through the ship.
My God.
Near as you can tell,
okay, so she just slipped multiple decks, is what you're saying? There was like a hole. She shouldn't just slip 30 feet. It was like 60 plus, right?
allow me to. I will get through this. So,
Sorry.
there's a. It seems.
Wait for it.
The suspense chat. Will the GM get interrupted again? Will his hand hover over the threat button? All this you'll find out next time. No. But yeah, these Starliners are not terribly large vessels. I would say that they top out at maybe 5 or 6 decks. It's hard for your light to tell, but it looks like it at least the hole goes down at least another deck below this one. On the side, from what your light can read out, Shira, it is not the deck immediately below yours, but if you consider yours as deck 1, it would not be deck 2, but more likely deck 3, where you see a faint light of a proper hue that would suggest the visor of a helmet, and there seems to be some movement there. Lieutenant Mjolnir appears to be on the edge of a platform just shy of a gaping hole in the hull.
Oh, not another one. Okay, right. I'm going down there.
Wait. I'm going to rig while you're on your way down. I'm going to rig a litter for her, right? And I'll send it down the line.
Horn, could you just hold the help guide the rope?
Yeah, on it.
Xantar, we might need you to come down after me, so just get prepared to follow me.
Very well, sir.
And I'll start making my way down.
Make a way.
Alright. So,
Making my way down through the deck plate.
yep, Shira,
That doesn't work.
you start
Yeah.
easing your way down, Marcus helping to keep you steady and lowering the rope. The rigging.
Would you say it's a long way getting from here to there?
Oh God.
That was well timed.
It is not a particularly long trip, although those seconds probably feel like minutes and minutes feel like hours. That said, it's probably just about a minute to get you down there. You ease yourself down to the deck where you find Meal Milk just kind of rolling around a little on her back, looking somewhat pained, or the movement's a bit stiff. Oh,
So she is conscious.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go over to her and try to gently help her away from this gaping chasm.
She tries to, like, ease back a bit and, like, use her legs to do that, but she immediately grimaces in pain when one of them makes contact with the deck plate. No! Damn it
yeah.
all!
Shit, all right,
shit.
don't try to put any weight on that.
Xantar will start setting up to propel down.
Is Xantar...
Propel? Repel.
Yeah. I was going to ask...
Propel down would be very different.
Yeah. Xantar just going ballistic, leaping, like, climbing onto the ceiling and then leaping straight down head first.
It's okay. I borrowed these jet boots from one of the other Star Trek movies.
The jet boots work the other way. You're going head first.
Ah!
Yep. It's like the orbital dive from the 2009 movie, but like just two decks. Anyway, I was going to ask, is Xantar setting up rigging of his own, or is I think that
I was going to help
didn't-
him rig. If he's never rigged for a climb before, I'll ask him. Xantar, have you ever rigged for a climb like this before?
Not in this sort of situation, no.
Okay, let me rig you.
Thank you.
So I'll rig him up.
So can we get Melnick away from the edge here?
Yeah, you can pull her away a bit. You get your arms kind of hooked under hers and kind of do like the... it's not the firemen carry, because that's like over the shoulders where you have their body kind of or you have their midsection basically rested on your shoulders whilst holding on to like an arm and a leg on either side. It's more of a dragging sort of motion.
Yeah.
She grimaces
Okay.
a bit at that. Just, if you'd like the well, you guys are doing fine on momentum, so I'll just allow you the opportunity to move her back a little bit. I'm going to change your position too, Shira, so that you're in place
sure.
here. Yeah.
I'll message back up to the other half of the away team. It looks like she's hurt her leg in the fall, maybe broken.
Understood.
Yeah, it should be clear for you on the way down, so just take your time. Just check in with the GM. The deck plate isn't making any ominous groaning sounds at all.
Watching that stuff like a hawk. I did scan the best possible spot.
Yeah. So far as you can tell, the deck plating has not... it's not threatening to give way from where you presently are.
Now, the next thing is going to be a litter to get her to go up, vertically up a line. So, do you want to roll for me to rig a litter?
I think I would say yes for that roll here in a moment. Sorry, just checking one thing here. I think for that roll, that's going to be something where it may be of increased difficulty because a litter is not something that you packed up. You would have to figure out some way to rig together something from the available material you have, and something with that also means picking strategically in terms of what won't actually risk breaking the ship further, what won't.
Yes.
Can we just make a sling out of the rope
Yeah.
and get her up to not overcomplicate things?
Yeah, sling is fine.
Yeah, that's
If
a
that's the easiest
distinct
route.
possibility. Just to ask around to, let's see, Xantar, were you also just to make sure I have a priority of like how you guys want to run this? Xantar, you're wanting to head down to the deck below so that you can rendezvous with Shira and Mjolnir, and or like, was that your plan there?
Correct. And do my doctorly duty. And
Copy that.
Yeah,
And-
we need to make a medical assessment of Melnick before
Yeah.
getting her up.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. And then
and while he's doing that, I would like to make a call into the ship, to the Aegis, but that can wait while everyone else rolls.
okay, all right, yeah. Well, I think that we can hold that conversation at least during part of that. So,
Yeah.
let's see. Romanov, what? Well, first, just to make this easier for you guys, since you have the climbing equipment set up and very sturdy, if you would like to spend the momentum, I would allow you to spend 2 to create the advantage to where you feel like you have a decent enough climbing setup here to where basically one at a time you can get each person down safely. And it would reduce the task if you attempt to climb further down the ship. Or rigging something up.
I think that sounds a good spend of momentum. We've got
I think
5, so that'll take us down to 3. What do you guys think?
sounds good to me.
Yeah, less rolls that cause people to fall, the better.
Yep. So,
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll spend that momentum.
Alright, so...
The less death, the better.
Yes. You drop that momentum, and with that, Xantar can begin making his descent. Once you get down, Xantar, you will make a... here, I'll go ahead and place your token down. Shira, when you are down, when your token is there, you can go ahead and make a reason plus medicine roll to reflect a
cool.
scan there. And as you're doing that, Shira, you can pop open your communicator and signal the Aegis. We'll
Yay.
evaluate the bits of we'll evaluate basically the roll after the conversation, or I can just send stuff via Discord there for you.
Okay. All right. Waiting to Aegis.
Aegis here. Oh, I didn't know which one to. If I was gonna do it, or you were gonna do it.
Sorry. Yeah, I was Crichton will answer first. Aegis here. Stand by, Commander. Captain, we have the away team.
Running a little late on the courtesy call.
Apologies, Colonel. I've had a little bit of an issue. The ship doesn't seem as structurally sound as we initially thought. Deck plate gave way, and Melnick took a tumble down a couple of decks. Dr. Xantar's just given her a check over, but I think she may have broken a leg.
Very well. Assessment.
Assessment. Well, the ship seems to be on its last legs. The captain of the vessel, whose body we did find, did a great job in landing it in good condition as it is. But strangely enough, a whole chunk of it is still pressurized and has breathable atmosphere. So
Nice.
there's a possibility that there could be survivors if they've had enough food resources.
Do you wish to bring the silence officer back on board, or do you think she can manage down there for the time being?
Oh, I think we'll probably have to take Melnick back to the shuttle. But I'd definitely like to stay to see if we could find out what's happened here and if there's anyone around. We've only really explored just one corridor of this section, but it is quite hazardous.
Very well. I'll send a few engineers in the other shuttle. We have 2 shuttles, right, Zach?
Yes.
There is a second shuttle pod, yes.
Yeah. I'll send on another team of engineers and a few Makos down for helping for both repelling and further structural integrity of the ship.
Yeah, we'll need some structural assessment going on. I fear that us moving in and out of the airlock is potentially weakening the ship further.
Understood. Give or take another hour, we will send another shuttle down, and we will retrieve the science officer.
Okay, very well.
Next call in 2 hours.
Sure, we'll set a timer. 2 hours.
Is there anything else, Lieutenant Commander?
Some notes on the ship's crash. It seemed to be that they may have had a collision before they ended up here. Not sure whether it would have been a collision with another ship or just a natural spacebound object. You could try to scan the area and see if there's any signs of perhaps another ship crash or remains of space debris or something. Might be a lead to follow up on.
Agreed. We will we'll deploy a probe low orbit as a communications buoy and start looking around to see if we notice any other traces of the ship's trail up here.
Okay, I think that's all we've got to report on now, sir.
All right. See you in 2 hours. Aegis out.
All right.
And Shirl will look over to Xantar to see how Melnick is doing.
Yes. As soon as Xantar's down there, we'll check the surroundings and head to the lieutenant and just begin a general assessment of how they are in general, and also just focusing on the leg.
Yep. That'll be a reason plus medicine roll.
Here we go. I take would a trauma act as a focus here, or xenobiology?
I think one of those two would work.
Cool.
All right. I'd say with
There we go.
that,
Nice.
yeah, with that, I'm willing to say first I'll let me make sure that the counter is up to date here. It is not quite. No, actually it is. Okay. So I will say first and foremost, that should be enough to give you 1 additional point of momentum.
Nice.
But with a quick use of your scanner, you can discern that it sounds as though the scanner is, the leg seems to have a bit of a bad sprain, possibly a hairline fracture along the along the lower leg bone, but nothing that can't be treated with relative ease. Probably, well, at the very least, you could, back at the shuttle, administer something for pain. You could honestly do that here because the atmosphere seems to be stable. As a residual bit, your sensors, the tricorder is picking up that, like, the local environment still seems to be habitable, if a bit cold. It's a little, it's a little ways above freezing here.
Can I imagine I'd have my med kit. Is there something in there that I can issue to help ease some of the pain and help the lieutenant out a bit?
I think that you would have some sort of pain medication that you could administer, something that could be hypoed through.
Yeah. All right, I will do that.
Yeah, I am trying to remember whether there is actually any sort of nodule in the spacesuit in this era that would allow you to do so without having to, or something that you could connect in without having to remove any part of it. I don't think that is
Would
the
be nice.
case, though. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Would hope so, at least.
I'll
Would
tell you what, the GM will lay out an executive decision and allow for there to be something like that. That being said, atmosphere is, as I mentioned, stable in here and is breathable, so you could.
if I could, if Xander could pull himself together and fight for a moment. If he has to take off the EVA suit to help the lieutenant, he will attempt to.
It's Melnuk's suit that you would have to remove because.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will,
or at least part of
that's a
it.
fair point.
Was
Yeah.
Melnick's suit breached, by the way?
Good question.
As you start looking over, she says, I already ran a suit check. I'm fine, though. If you aren't picking up anything harmful here, then I'll take the pain meds, please.
Very good.
She'll take off
get
her
up.
helmet, and
I can't remember. We don't have hyper sprays yet. Is it something else? I can't remember.
you do have a sort of very primitive sort of hypo spray.
Yeah. I get out the hypo spray. Figure out a name for it later. And begin to administer the pain medication.
Yep. As
Here you are, Lieutenant. This will help take care of ease the pain.
She well, first you administer the hypo, you get it into just a part of the neck, and the pained expression on her face begins to recede, and she shuts her eyes, holds them tight for a moment, and as her face eases, her head tilts just a little bit. Do you hear that?
Hear what?
There's some sort of low clicking sound. I couldn't pick it up with the helmet on, but now sounds like there's something lower in the deck, almost like a constant pattern of a sort. What all of you hear, as opposed to this, would be the sound of some sort of high-pitched chitter, and some other noise begin to pick up. Give me an insight plus security roll, anyone who is down there. I'm going to call it
yes, please.
difficulty
this ought to be
2.
actually.
For those,
Inside security.
yeah, Romanov and Horn may also attempt to do so, but at a difficulty of 3.
Will my focus in survival count towards this?
I don't think so in this case.
No? Okay.
Would my focus in xenobiology help?
Yes.
Cool.
I would
Not
also
suspicious
like
at all.
to give you a point of threat for an extra dice.
I will accept your point of threat.
I have no focus I would even try to argue for this situation.
I would also
Ooh,
like
yeah.
to give a point of... actually, do I now? No, I will give a point of threat for an extra dice as well.
Very well.
Ooh, so I'm going to use bold security to re-roll
Yes. Reroll that. Reroll that.
That's not good. Yeah.
Oof.
That's a roll.
Got a 3. That'll do. So I got 2 successes. So that's useful.
Ah, there you go. 2. That's switch that to 2 successes.
Okay,
Nice.
so I am given a point of threat by Xantar and Shira. In Shira's case, Bold allows her to re-roll, so I think that, let's see. Yeah, Xantar and Shira will both pass on that. Marcus, you can make out that there is some sort of sound coming from below, but you are at such distance that you can't make it out precisely. In your case, Xantar, Shira, you make out that there is a sound coming from below the deck. Indeed, as you begin to look at the you look around in the gaping chasm that is a bit before you. Let me reveal a little more of this. You can see that it extends out away as just whole parts of the deck appear to have collapsed in this area. And, more troublingly, you can make out the forms of things crawling along the walls, shapes that seem to have a very spindly appearance to them.
Oh no.
And along their backs, a vague sort of fluttering sound appears to account for most of the background noise that Melnyuk is hearing.
Oh joy.
At that point, trying to make them show up now. Oh, I see why that is. You shine your lights down, and you catch signs of what are very clearly a sort of insectoid type being, possibly biped, although they could very easily be quadrupeds. They, however, seem to be kitted out in a sense, or at least partially it seems clothed or carrying other elements and items on them. They are climbing up the deck in your direction.
Okay, so they're kitted out, so they're almost certainly intelligent.
Oh.
Do they seem armed?
I will say,
Yes,
let's
they've
see,
got
first-
4 arms. But
yeah,
Hey.
they have at least 2 arms here. But yeah. Shira, I'll ask for that as an obtain momentum spend, or obtain information spend from your momentum
okay.
pool.
I'll spend a momentum for that.
Yeah. I will note, nobody succeeded to a threshold to where they would earn momentum there, so that is nothing new there. But yes, for 1 point of momentum, which I have incorrect there. Apologies. Okay, so counter's up to date. And for your point of momentum, Shira, you can make out there are signs of objects that they seem to be carrying, more of like bits of rebar or piping that could conceivably be used in a melee, but you see no signs of particle weaponry of any sort.
Okay. Alright.
That just makes this easier.
Yep.
Yes. Xantar, get the lieutenant ready to move quickly.
Yeah, Xantar will help get the science officer on her feet.
Yep. Any curiosity from the deck above? Or any other
We haven't really heard much, have we?
Not really.
So is everything okay down there? You went dramatically silent.
There's a group of people coming up towards us. They seem to be vaguely insectoid.
Okay. We concerned?
Do they
Okay.
seem hostile? Zach.
It is hard to make out from them just climbing and approaching you.
Yeah, it's true.
Climbs and approaches aggressively.
Go, growling at the suspected pile or something. I guess Cheryl. Oh, God's sake. Do we have universal translators in this? Because I've always kind of assumed Shira's actually speaking English, that she learned it.
If I remember correctly, yeah, we don't have universal translators yet, or is that something that's just been developed?
They've actually been very recently developed and are starting to see deployment. You would have had the opportunity to pick something up.
How convenient.
She'll call out, hello? We're from the ship Aegis. We're investigating a distress signal.
You don't receive a direct answer as they continue to climb their way up. They are about now on the deck below you, and they are on as they're approaching.
Okay, Xantar, get Melnick. Is Melnick ready to a lift?
Yeah, Xantar is trying to get her into the sling at this point. Like,
okay.
Yep.
As I see this going on, do we have is our backup Mako team down yet with the experienced climbers?
No,
it's gonna be like an hour.
Okay. Hey, just thought I double check. I figured
we are the Mako team.
So I guess I'm gonna get ready to start pulling. Should they get her in the sling?
Gotcha. Melnyuk is getting her helmet back on as she sees these things starting to climb. Oh, what the hell are these?
Horn kind of leans over while guiding the rope to Romanos, like, we need to hurry. I think these might be Zindi.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what the hell. Look, whenever it's alien insects and they don't stop and they keep going, it's usually not good. I've seen the sci-fi movies. She's adjusting herself so she can start applying her Vulcan martial arts, which would have ideas about how to apply full body weight in a maximum fashion. So she's going to get ready to apply and, push off on some of the snow or part of the hole and give herself some additional pulling capacity. So hopefully Horn, I can augment what Horn's doing and pulling.
Gotcha. Going to see.
Is there anything that would come to mind that would, what's the word I'm looking for? Deter them? Like some sound of a certain frequency or something like that?
We could try to drop some. I could take one of the engineering, tricorders, maybe put it on a multi-frequency blast. We let everybody know it's coming, and we drop it down there and pray.
Well, there's very little time for something like that. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but it will make a very difficult task, basically.
Okay, and right now it's basically, if any time we spend on that, we're not spending to prep to start to pull them up. Right?
Yeah, let's try to get them up as quickly as possible.
There's nothing. Sorry, there's nothing.
Yep.
Do we even have time to get more than one person up?
Probably not.
Yep. Take Melnick up.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see. Let's see. They will not make it up fast enough for you to get there before you can lift up Melnyuk. So I will allow, by use of that advantage, to say that you have rigged up Melnyuk as these creatures make their way up. That you're able to drag her back to the deck above. So let's take her off the board there. Alright, so Shira, as Melnyuk passes back through the deck plating, the creatures, these beings, have managed to ascend the remaining bit there. They are now crawling on the sides of the walls, and they are approaching the platform. The first two start to disengage from the wall and approach there. One of them has grabbed basically a bit of rebar that they had slung along their back and has it in one hand. Another has like a bit of piping.
Have you tried communicating with them?
Well, I've already said hello. I'm Lieutenant Commander Eula Shearer of the Aegis. What's your name?
They exchange looks back and forth and look back to you. There is a steady buzzing sound coming from them, which, Xantar, I think in particular, you might pick up that they have essentially sort of gossamer wings along their back that appear to be flittering a bit as they stand in front of you.
Is that common for the bug variety of Zindi? If I would know?
I'd say that, honestly, the interspecies medical exchange information on Zindi is very limited. You might have a little bit from the Nexo 1's files, but I think that I might ask you to spend a little more momentum just to obtain the information for that.
I'll live. I think I'll be okay.
Okay.
Will we live?
I'm also not sure.
We'll live for now.
I'm also not really sure what to do from up here. So if anyone has any suggestions, feel free.
I mean, you can calm down.
You come
not
down.
sure I
You
would
can
be
also
of
tell
help
the
if anyone-
captain. Let the captain know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, what are you gonna do from up there?
I mean, be a lot quicker.
A lot more supportive. We always feel better when we can talk.
Yeah, be more supportive. You got this.
I
Crew.
mean, the captain
You
does always have the prerogative of saying, "Oh, bugs are down there, Zindi." Oh,
Orbital bombardment.
yep, orbital strike time, I guess.
Romanoff's
Yeah,
seen
hammer
aliens.
down.
She knows exactly how
Only-
this is going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure that's really helping.
Yeah. But as an aside, Zach, I don't know if it's anybody else, but Zach, I think you're a little quiet for me.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Let me try to adjust.
Like a hint up more.
How's this?
Fairly normal for me.
Yeah, you're good.
Am I coming through okay for everyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yep.
Copy that. Oh, I will also say, I've just taken notice that we have had a Quatlu spend in this scene. I apologize, Joe, that I had missed last year, but a player advantage has been created, so you gain you gain some sort of advantage that you can apply within the scene.
Wait. It's that my phaser rifle I can pull and shoot at the same time.
Oh, I mean, if you would like to...
No phaser rifles.
Technically, that is also an escalation class,
That's right.
but I would say that if you want to be able to find that you have a good angle for a phase pistol shot, then you can do that. I'll even reduce the difficulty for you.
No.
It's a trap.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
let
a
the
trap. It's a trap.
Don't do it.
It's
GM
always-
trap.
But I trust Zach.
It's your first
That's
mistake.
where you make mistake.
All right. So, they at present the insects are the insectoids are sort of they're facing you off. They are standing before you with these implements here. Their wings are buzzing a bit, but they are not responding to your greetings. the translators that you have on hand, you aren't certain whether they are properly programmed for the dialect of a Scythian sectoid language, or if they're fully capable of doing that.
Yeah.
There's just...
So we can rescue you from this wreckage. We have a ship.
You are met with further clicks and chitters as they look between the two of you.
Yes.
Think that they are... They're going to close slightly more as the other two climb. There seems to be some... some that are still on the walls also buzz their wings in significant, creating a very shrill sort of sound that you are insulated from somewhat, as the speakers on your helmet filter some of it out. But let's see what they decide to do here.
Zeros. Zeros. Is that good? Is that bad? We're gonna find out.
No clue.
Use them in command. Zeros. Yay.
Let's see. Failing that, I think that they will default to a slightly different line of thinking here.
Oh no. That's
The other two cease climbing upwards and proceed towards you and Xantar as the other two begin to close the distance with you. They are almost within reach, Shira, and, well, more so you than Xantar, but both of them are getting closer to you.
okay. Shira's gonna at this point move here, make sure she's positioning herself between them and the doctor.
Okay.
So she's trying to think here. She's probably probably doesn't have a data pad. Probably doesn't have a data pad. Is this interesting?
So we have this possible create advantage. Could we link a couple of tricorders together to make a better translation capacity?
Except you guys are separate right now.
I know, but I'm asking, Zach, if I might be able to increase the distance of, say, one of my tricorders that's up there, link with hers, and give her a better chance. It's a total long shot. Zach's probably going to tell me no and that I'm crazy.
Well, so what I could say, like, your engineering tricorder isn't as well suited to something like that. If you wanted to take, like, Marcus or Melnuk's one, then you might be able to rig something there, I suppose. But the key issue is that, like, those aren't specific translating bits of equipment, or they aren't.
Yeah, that's
necessarily
what I was
specialized.
thinking too.
Yeah,
It's just all the thought bubbles. She's seen aliens. She knows how this goes when the large mass of insectoid aliens starts moving towards you.
Yep. So, I will ask you first. I will stress at this point, we are not in combat.
No,
so,
we're definitely not in combat.
Yes.
I'm trying to keep it that way.
Yes.
Yep. But it is, I am going to go down the line, first to you, Shira, besides moving between yourself and the doctor, or like, basically standing between the doctor and the other Zindi, what, if anything, would you be trying to, is there anything in particular you want to try and do? Either a task you want to attempt, or...
Shira will attempt to say, okay, that's far enough. You can stop there. She'll put her hand out, like typical stop sign. For an Andorian, whatever that is.
Yep.
Stupid Xenos and their weird languages, right?
Yep.
Oh no, wait, you're all Xenos.
Yep.
Every Xenos here.
That could be
sorry.
Indy for chew on my limb, you know.
It could be. Here's a tasty treat, my hand. That's far enough. Stay there until we can establish some form of communication. Just check. Could Xantar just peer behind us and look further down this corridor behind us?
Xantar, you wanna try and take a look there?
Yeah, sure. Might as well.
Okay.
Just make sure there's nothing coming from the other direction, or maybe we have a nice place to run to if things turn a bit.
All right. Insight plus
bad.
security, please.
Ooh, okay.
Insect plus security. Sorry, insight plus security.
No, I heard it as well.
Difficulty 2, and any mistakes are
Hey!
strictly my my own congestion there for certain.
Doesn't matter. I succeeded with
Oh,
2
right.
successes.
Yep. Xantar, behind you there is a considerable pile of debris and other material, but you can make out through that. Like, you'll need to shove some things around, but there is like the edge of a corridor leading basically into another cut-off portion of wall. Like where this ends, basically there is more. There is like more compacted debris and stuff that isn't properly displayed here, but this would basically exit to the severed neck of the ship. As you remember, that would have connected to the command module. You do make out there is a door to the left once you, or if you are heading out that way, once you get through the debris pile, but it would take a little effort to make it through.
Cool. I will relay that to Shira. Just possible, but may take some time for an escape.
We didn't have time to rush us.
Yep. The Zindi to your left, Shira, holding a bit of rebar in its right appendage, will reach out its left, and its hand goes toward yours, just making contact for a moment. Basically, it reaches out and touches your open palm before recoiling and clicking a bit more.
Okay, good. Got a diplomacy expert up 2 decks from here.
Yep. On the deck above, I'll shift the scene for just a moment here. Let's see. Marcus, Marcus Romanov, you have pulled up Melnyuk at this point. Let's move this up properly. Sorry, stand by just one moment.
Well, having Melnia back up here, and not having to actively pull the rope, I would have taken out the communicator and put it like right next to me so that I can still yank at the rope if necessary, but the line is open and I would call the ship.
Move the camera up. Alright, so yeah, Marcus, you have things set up. You fire up the communicator, and Aegis picks up a call. Sir, I'm rather from the bridge here on the line. Sir, away team calling in. Away team, this is Aegis. Go ahead.
Yes, this is the away team, Horn speaking. We have an incident here.
Explain.
I believe we've met some Zindi.
She suddenly gets tense and looks to Crichton, condition red, right now.
Hey, sir.
That was quick.
Yep. So over the comm line, Marcus, you hear as while Crichton is in the background switching to a secondary line, the audio line is shifted to where you can hear the voice focus on the captain, but nonetheless, you hear in the background. And let me make sure that's properly tuned here. Action stations, action stations. All hands report to action stations set to condition red.
What phenotype, Horn?
Insectoid. There seems to be some hostility, but it's not escalated yet. We are separated from them by multiple decks, and we can't get Santa and Shira out of there at the moment.
Unless you are confirmed that they are holdouts or that they do anything of life-threatening nature to the away team, you are not to fire. Is that understood, Horn?
Understood.
I'll be sending down a mega team and myself personally in 15 minutes.
We'll try to remain peaceful.
We'll get there as soon as possible. Keep the line open. Let me know if it escalates.
I will. Shira, have you heard that?
Did I hear that? Was it, I guess, is it shared over the...
Potentially not necessarily, but...
I think that since Marcus was rigging up a separate communicator, unless you had a suit intercom going between you, then you could have at least heard Marcus's end. I don't know necessarily if that would network you into the other side of the call.
Yeah, probably not. Diplomacy is the first priority.
Yes.
Captain's on the way.
Especially when outnumbered.
Yes. What are they doing? Can we even see them from up here, really?
It's very hard to make out exactly what is going on those decks below as the Zindi continue to examine you, Shira. And one of the one on your left is still kind of looking around and looking up and down. The other is trying to move around on your right and moving to get a closer look towards Xantar.
Is it weird that they have not really tried to communicate?
They've been buzzing and chirping, and even in the show when speaking with other Zindi, they buzzed and chirped.
True.
So they don't
Clicked
even
and clacked.
so they don't even have any
Yeah,
normal
even
language
with
capacities.
Yeah, even with other Zindi, that it was all subtitled.
Well, they were highly, highly xenophobic, even amongst other Zindi. I don't see them really trying to learn other languages outside of building translators.
Well, and also universal translators of this time period are all based on more human-centric, models. And because
that
problems
said, Hoshi did translate pretty easily.
That's true, and we may have access to those.
Yeah, but it was a manual process for most of it.
Thankfully,
That's
I
true.
specialize in linguistics now.
Oh,
So.
here's a question. If we were to have a data pad, presumably we'd have access to some of the Zindi languages and stuff that the Enterprise had scanned.
You can use that as your advantage, or if you've not even using it.
This is true.
Yeah. We could potentially just type out a message, which they can read. What do you think?
That's a really good idea.
Yep. You can try translate now, or wait till your captain translator following translator, as I'm bringing Crichton with me.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're trying to diffuse the current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand. It's up to you.
Okay, I think we'll try for that now with the Overland Gamers Advantage.
What are data pads capable at this time? It's like, for example, if we
They're
have
more
sufficient
iPads.
information. Yeah, but if we have sufficient information on the Zindi language, could we translate simple phrases at least to Zindi. I don't know how deep the contact or information about the Zindi goes, aside from like the big stuff
So,
as player knowledge.
yeah, what I will say, and this is particularly like something that as you even like basically try to use what you can on the tricorder to simulate that, because I imagine, well, it's not a dedicated translation device. There's probably something that could be programmed in, or something that would be able to access some basic info on them, and possibly give you a little bit of insight to the language. Part of the difficulty communicating with the insectoids is that they have innumerable dialects. Hoshi herself became at least aware of over 60 different dialects of insectoid, and had to process like manually for some of that. So it's possible that you could hit something that would allow you to emit very basic phrases with some difficulty. Whether that would go over or whether the meaning would be fully captured is the question.
Would general Zindi not work? Because I mean, I assume that on their home planet, the other races speak whatever the common language is.
They do. The issue is that, like, the insectoids, indeed, they have such a different speech pattern, and indeed, I would say that between the insectoids and the aquatics, there are, like, greater nuances to how they communicate because of the physiological differences. That, like, while they could evolve into, they got to the point where eventually translation was easy enough among the other 5 groups, or like amongst the 5 groups. But for the I'm trying to think of how best to communicate with this. The physiological and cultural context behind how the Zindi communicate are like just very different between the other, compared to the other 4. I mean, the aquatics themselves, it's closer to whale song how they communicate, whereas the other 3 land-based ones have at least similar styles of vocal cord and such, to where they can emit the same sounds, and thus, you can have a more easily translated thing between reptilians, arboreals, primates. But the insectoids, like their vocal cord structure, how they communicate, how they perceive communication, it is much, much more different.
So we're running the danger of just like insulting them or something similar with all the dialects and everything.
I mean, that would be the worst of the complications, and that's presuming that they speak that dialect. As you are, I will ask Shira if you are doing anything to stop the one on the right coming around to see take a closer look at Xantar.
I'll note that they've been friendly so far. They haven't killed or eaten anyone yet. So for now, I'll let him go around, but no others.
Okay. Xantar, one of the insectoids will approach you and start looking you over as well. It'll extend an appendage, an arm out your way, and sort of just start kind of waving it in front of your faceplate, and maybe just very slowly, tentatively reach out to touch your suit. I will say this appears to be a bare, ungloved insectoid hand.
Oh
Hey,
no.
I
don't be
use
racist.
Could I try to interpret like what it's trying to do? Like, obviously, it's trying to assess me, but like, is there something specific it's trying to do, or just
Well,
it be weird?
I'll
Determine whether you're human.
I will
Yes.
I'll allow maybe an insight and we can call it science roll here.
Cool.
I do think I
Um,
will set the difficulty up to 4 for this.
I actually have something for this. I have cultural flexibility. When I attempt to task to learn about an unfamiliar culture or to act in an appropriate manner when interacting with members of such a culture, I can reduce the difficulty by 1.
That definitely applies, so we will
Ooh, that's
reduce that
perfect.
difficulty to 3. Very good.
Cool. Could I also apply xenobiology and or counseling to as a focus?
I think that would be just a little bit too far in this circumstance.
Fair, fair.
But a good ask.
So I will give threat to give myself another die.
I will take your threat.
You're welcome. And we'll see how we do here. 3 successes.
Okay. Well, it's not quite enough to give you a complete success in this circumstance. What it does for you, though, Xantar, is gives you a fair bit of insight into the situation. Thus far, the insectoids haven't treated you as a threat outright. More, it feels as if they are trying to develop some sort of context for you. There's a bit of curiosity with regard to what you are and what you are bringing, what you have. You notice a good bit of their scanning around and their tentative reaches out appear to be on bits of your suit that are not like... The first one might have been to make contact with the material of your uniform, but you realize more of the touch points they're getting at are places very near where you have equipment, or there are baubles of the EV suit on you, as if they're trying to get a sensory examination of that.
Okay.
It's not entirely clear, I will say, if you were human, whether this would be any different. These Zindian appear to be, well, they appear to be kitted and suited in very sort of ramshackle setups, like they seem to have some sort of, in addition to gear that they are carrying, which seems to be in various accumulated pouches, they have some sort of very loosely jury-rigged cloth over their center carapace that provides them some coverage.
Okay. So I'll look at the commander, or I'll try and communicate with the commander. Commander, it seems... I think these Indies seem to be more curious about the equipment we're carrying rather than ourselves. It might be possible that maybe they're looking for something specific? If I had to hazard a guess.
But what though? Like,
I can't say for sure, unfortunately. I don't know much about the Zindi. Especially
no.
the insectoid version.
Neither do I.
Do any of them look injured?
None of them show any signs of injury. I will give you that from your insight task.
Cool.
They seem to be alternating in bits of chittering between them. You'll notice with that insight task, I would say, that there is one of them will flap their the black gossamer wings on their back, and then immediately after that, and they get some acknowledgement from the others, they will start more actively clicking and chirping, chittering away. So it could be some method of exchange, signifying that they want attention for the group.
Okay. I'll try and relay that to the commander and as close a way I can. Actually, also look at the at our science officer and look at her and go, I don't suppose you could offer any insight, Lieutenant?
She's
She's what?
up here.
Oh, okay, never mind. Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry. So yeah, I'll just let the commander know what they're doing.
Oh dear. The group the group is trying
Oh, no.
in an assessment
Ugh.
role appears to have complicated. So I think I'm going to leave that to be a player advantage. What is something that you would like to expressly rule them out in terms of what they do?
Something express.
Something we would rule out that they do?
Yes.
Become hostile?
Attempt to
The hostile thing
attempt
is
to
good.
capture our people.
Remove
Good.
the paranoia. There's no
Yeah.
there's no paranoia here. It's like, oh, okay, they're not invaders. Come on.
Look at the dear doctor. He's harmless.
Yeah.
He couldn't even hurt a fly.
I guess
Poor
maybe
choice of word. Poor choice of word.
they don't. I guess what everybody's saying is they don't perceive us as a threat. They're continuing to assess us. Might be the best possible we can get.
I'll tell you what. I will shift the. I can find a way to at least get at some of the spirit of this and affirm something that, well, do something helpful here. Xantar, you actually do notice that one of them appears to have a slight bit of a limp. We'll say this one back here.
Okay.
It has hung back a little bit, and it has not gotten out any bit of equipment.
All right. I will try and gesture towards it, towards the injury, and then sort of point to myself and be like, "I'm a doctor. I can help."
The Zindi nearest you slightly raise the instruments that they have, the rebar, the pipes, whatever. They seem a bit protective of their compatriot.
I will not harm him. I will just look at his leg.
They stop amongst themselves, seeming to hesitate.
I'll open up the get the medical kit and show them like bandages or like some sort of pain medication to show that give them insight into what I want to do. I want to help.
Yep. Let's see. Well, I think that one of them might tentatively reach in and just touch a little bit of that. They might even pick up like one surplus bit of like bandaging to look it over.
Yeah, I will let them.
Yep. They'll go ahead and pocket it.
Fair.
Um,
That's fair.
It's mine now, bitch.
the injured
Thank
Zindi
you.
will, if you permit them, Shiro will try to make its way past you towards Xantar.
Which one?
The injured one, the one that's right here.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yep.
Submit.
Oh, look how surrounded Shira is.
Well, no, I think. Look how surrounded Xantar is.
The
No,
only
no. I'm looking on the
the
map.
only
And
thing the only thing Shira is surrounded by is fear and dead bugs.
Yep. So Xantar, the injured one, is now in range. It's actually distracted because it is looking through the medical cure box that the others are starting to look at, peruse, and in some cases pick a few things out of it. I will say you have the tools you need to do whatever you wish to do to treat this.
Cool. So I will examine the leg and see if it's something I can treat quickly.
Okay, so go ahead, give me just one more reason plus medicine scan. I'm going to call this a difficulty 2, just because I think that you may be less familiar with the insectoid biology, but xenobiology will come
I
into
do
play.
have yeah, I have xenobiology to help focus there, so it's good. The
That is 1 success and 1 complication.
Oh, hang on, I might have something
Uh-oh.
for this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let me
That's
ask here first on the complication.
maybe
You
not.
could re-roll that. Well, you can do one of 3 things. You may accept the narrative complication. You may buy it off with either, or rather, you may ignore it and allow the gym to take 2 threat, or you can buy it off using 2 momentum, or since you haven't spent it, you do have a point of determination. So long as you have a relevant value or directive, orders, anything of the sort, you can call
I
upon
will use my determination as I have hands to heal, not to hurt.
Okay, I would apply that, so that would allow you to re-roll as many of the dice in that pool as you wish. You can make it the 1, you can re-roll both. It's entirely up to you.
I'll re-roll that 1 for now.
Okay,
There we go.
Oh, God.
that is 2 successes, which is enough to succeed, and
I can hear the trepidation in Craig's voice, just like, oh, thank goodness.
yep. Your
Craig's
best...
just like, this is my first away team. This is my first away team. This is my first away team.
It's not our first away team with Craig, I can assure you of that.
Second away team for Shira to
But
leave.
for you in command. No, it's your second
no,
one
she-
still.
yeah,
So you're,
yeah.
yeah, still second, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the last one did lead in to having Romanov abducted and nearly starting a war. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah,
Sorry, continue, Zach.
Quite all right. So, near as you can tell, it seems as though there was a slight injury to the tibia section of the leg. Possibly they had lost something where it had damaged it had slightly compressed the tibia and left some residual inflammation. You are certain enough with what you have that you could administer a careful bit, like an anti-inflammatory and something that would reduce pain as well. Injecting it might be just a little more complicated. It'd probably be something where you have to go for one of the seams between the exoskeletal elements here, but you could probably get it that way. Either that or you could try to administer orally.
I'll try and sort of administer between the carapace.
Okay. I will just allow you to formulate and press that there, just building off of that success, and kind of as part of the advantage here. They all recoil a little bit when you do this, but they look through, and then a moment or two, you find that its walking is a little bit easier.
Good.
What were you about to ask?
I was going to say if there was going to be a roll, I'd have something to help with that, but never mind.
Yep. No, you don't, and they chitter at a much more excited pace. They look amongst themselves, and then they look to you, and all of their arms will start reaching out and trying to grab hold of you, Xantar.
Oh boy.
One
Keep
of us.
the doctor.
One of us. One of us.
Yep.
We just want your doctor.
They lift you and your box to the feet, which
No.
it's gone with a bit more of the gear. They close it, and one of them will, the one you've just helped heal, will be sure to stash that along its back. Shira, they're taking Xantar back towards the hole.
Commander, I think I figured out what they needed.
Oh God. Well, okay. Stop. She's gonna grab hold of Xantar.
The one behind you is going to grab a hold of you, Shira, as they start making their way further towards the hole, trying
Making
to
their
get
way.
you. Yeah. I'm going to say if either of you want to resist, this will be a
Uh,
fitness plus security roll in order to keep rooted.
Xantar's good.
Share
Xantar's going to go with this. Xantar's going with
you're,
this.
you're going with the flow. You're going
I'm going with the flow. Yeah.
You let yourself be abducted.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Because the only other option is terrible.
The only other option is to fight for
One of my
Cindy.
values is enjoy your short life. It's like, well, I enjoyed it for now.
Yep. Congratulations. You made it one adventure.
It's the last thing you hear while he's carried off into the darkness. Well, it was nice while it lasted.
I'll roll up my new science officer character. Hang on.
Yep. Xantar starts playing, sets up the music that he had in there, just starts playing Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. Yeah.
Yes,
And-
I am interested where it goes, though. There's that part of me which is curious, just to
I mean,
find
honestly,
out.
you could just yell up. We see where this goes and just leave with them. This is also kind of Star Trek-ish.
It is, yes. It is kind of... Okay, alright. I mean, there's also... They haven't attempted to disarm Shira. Shira's got a phase pistol, has clearly got a blade on.
They just want the doctor. They're not looking for a fight.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't... They must know what a phase pistol is. They must have seen weaponry before, and they can clearly see she's got some
We're both
blade on her.
pistols, yeah.
So
Well,
again,
okay, look, if this vessel discovered some Zindi a long time ago, and then on its way back crashed, these guys might be truly separated from Zindi society.
Well,
They could be
in-
reasonable.
interesting
Or-
as the
or they-
conversation is, I must ask,
Okay.
Shira, are you going to intrude upon us? 'Cause
I will.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this conversation is very interesting, very Star Trek. I would kind of like it to happen a little more in character, at least with the people that are not about to actively be abducted.
Fair. It's very, very fair.
Okay, all right. So just to be clear, they're taking Xantar. Are they taking me?
One of the one that is behind you as you grab hold of Xantar has also grabbed hold of you and seems to be making the same walking motion, like trying to lead you with the group.
All right.
They're treating
Okay,
it as
I
a
think-
hive situation, it would seem.
All right. In this case, I think I'll go with them. I will relay a message up to Horn and Romanoff. Okay, they seem to be taking Xantar further somewhere after he healed someone. It's possible they have more injured, so I'm going with Xantar.
Are you sure about this?
No, but this is what's going to happen.
As you go quieter and quieter in the distance.
We've got
Over at Xantar is just like, I'm fine.
We've got communicators which can reach up to the starship. I'm sure they've got no problem reaching.
When they
reaching
go
Horner.
deeper in, will we be able to communicate with them?
No,
We don't know.
probably
Sure,
not.
we will be able to. Because again, it would have to penetrate the Aegis. It'd have to get up to the Aegis, wouldn't it? It's fine. It's fine.
It's like Horn looks to Romanov and says, "Well, at least they're not hostile."
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing: you've got a Denobulan and Andorian. They've not seen
No
a
human yet. Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
So I will look at Horn and say, look, if this vessel found some Zindi eggs a long time ago and then crashed here, these Zindi may be separated from their society. There's a thought.
Zach's just scratching off plot lines like, I know, can't do that now.
So
I'll also radio get Melnick back to the shuttle.
Got it.
as you reach the edge, two of the Zindi on will take either side of you, and they will like use various bits of like chain and rope and stuff to rig you up between the two of them. And each climbing down a wall, you have the sudden disconcerting feel of the floor no longer being below you, as the Zindi are slowly starting to climb down, bearing your weight and taking you further down the ship. Okay.
Chula, go down the hole.
Yep. So, next question here, before we transition into the next set of scenes here, I have to ask, would you guys like to take just a few minutes break so that anyone that needs to use the restroom can do so? We can top off on fluids, all other sorts of things here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, break would be good.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, we'll take back from just our quick bio break here. We are about to get back to the adventure, where we've had some excitement as some of the crew appear to have been abducted by Zindi that were aboard the ship that they've found.
damn Zindi.
Yeah. So let's see. What we'll do, we'll get this set up here. Just moving some tokens around to make sure that we've got everyone we need. I will say, I can have just a couple basic Makos. If anybody wants a security supporting character, we do also have at least one security Mako.
Absolutely. I have to get some, of course. Look,
Well, now,
Lillian Sharp is going to bring one of her best people, for sure.
yeah, the only issue with Mora, I realize, is that she's also, Romanov's also here, so maybe it makes sense to...
I can live without Mora, but
no more. I want Mora. I trust Mora. Mora's tasked with defending the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So
That makes
Mora's
total
up
sense.
there in case
Shit hits the
others
fan.
Zindi lie in wait, and you need to defend against a boarding action.
Yep.
She got mentioned in this episode.
Yeah.
That's got to be worth something.
And then, let's see, I'll bring Fernir down. So, we will start off.
I will escalate because I am not taking any chances, and I'm bringing rifles.
Okay, an escalation cost has been paid, so the GM will take 2 points of threat. And you now will all have access to phase pistol rifles, or the particle rifles. We'll say that you brought down surplus for whomever wants it in the current away team. Save, of course, for Shira and Xantar, both of whom are out of reach, as it were. So, we'll switch this over to the proper layer. And I will say, Craig, just at your leisure, you may activate, as you activate Marple, I believe you can give her a talent or value at your discretion. Possibly a focus as well.
Just trying to remember what I already added to her.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move things over then here. We get the exterior shot of the just barren, icy expanse of this of the planet that you're on. The final resting place of the Project Constellation vessel, the Ada Blackjack. It is a desolate environment marked by the debris which is partly enshrined within the dry ice snow that is around. The shuttle pod that you take down Sharp Bankson, as close as like very close to the shuttle. It's been a very rough go as you opted for the combat drop, essentially, having the pod pretty much fly like a brick down to the surface.
I said 15 minutes. I'm getting there in 15 minutes.
Yep. So, I won't make any calls for Marple in this case, the ship's nurse who has elected to join you, but for his part, Chief Fernier, the ship's quartermaster who's taken on some increasing engineering roles, is looking just a slight bit queasy, but he's doing his best. The other Makos are okay, and whomever is piloting, if you are not doing it, they are, holding steady as best they can. Over the line, you do have Crichton on comms. Yes, sir. Warp power is available if we need to get away, and the comm probe is ready in case we need to drop that and run. We'll have that advanced warning in case any other Zindi show up. Do be advised... go ahead, sir.
If Zindi do show up, do inform them of our mission statements and why we are here. We're simply here just for a rescue operation and recovery. If they do persist or ignore any signals, do break orbit and return to friendly space.
Hey, sir. We will be all prepared for that if it comes to it, Captain, but we'll try to gain any help we can if we should need to disengage. Sadly, there aren't many Earth ships in range in this area of space, or none that could be here particularly fast. I have sent down all the info and as much as I could program into the translator, but dealing with insectoids, given the complexity of their dialects, I would not expect you to be able to get the same real-time translation quality we are used to for most. I would highly suspect it will be a delayed text interpretation, so just be
I have
careful.
to rely on my own talents. Got it. All right. Call back in 4 hours. Hard call back in 8.
Hey, sir. With the comm line cutting out, your shuttle pod touches down, not too far away from where the other pod is. I think at this point, Romanov, Horn, and Melnyuk would have made it back in. And they are in easy comms range themselves, so we'll just go ahead and...
Yeah, she'll just get out of the shuttle and kind of take a look around. Looks good so far.
Yep.
And then look over her Makos and kind of just sigh. Someone wake up Lamar.
One of them will just nudge the arm of one of the other makers. Oh, well, I'm up.
And then she'll signal. This is the captain to Commander Horn.
Was it possible for Romanov to get back to the shuttle with Melnia herself? Because if possible, I would have liked to stay there.
Yes.
And just keep an eye on things if anything develops.
I will retroactively allow that, and so when the signal comes to the shuttle pod, Romanov, you would be the one to answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what is the signal?
This is the captain to Commander Horn. Respond.
Horn is out by the drop point where people fell. He's remaining right there. I'm here with the wounded science officer inside the shuttlecraft.
All right. Tell the chief to rendezvous the shuttle to this location.
Okay.
And collectively, and then once you are dropped off, Romanov, have the chief head back over to the ship.
Okay, so I can probably just hoof it back to the site, and he can lift from here if you want.
I honestly, I think your landing site is close enough to where, like, you're already pretty
Yeah,
much
I
in
can
walking
walk.
Oh, okay.
distance.
I thought. All right. Yeah. She'll just say, then just hoof it over here.
Okay, hoofing it on my way. And
Chief.
I'll check with our injured science officer. By the way, was she complaining a lot when I was like carrying her back to the shuttlecraft?
Oh, there was definitely a slurry of heartfelt expletives, to which she explained, of course, what? It's scientifically proven that letting off a
I mute her. You know what I do? I
goddamn
nod and I just mute the external speaker. I don't want to listen to her.
Yep.
But I'll keep nodding. That's the role playing. I turn the speaker back on when I put her there because she is wounded and she might need to talk to somebody.
Yep. By the
Chief.
time that you make it back into the shuttle pod, I think that Justice might have been looking her over, and you'd probably get a, "Oh, goddamn it! Pay attention to what you're doing." I'm sorry. I'm not usually on the medical training end of things. We usually keep the doctors around for that, and it looks like you guys misplaced your doctor.
You keep us alive in shuttlecrafts.
Chief, you're ready to go. Lambeth is waiting for his patient. Once you drop her off, I want you back down here with the other shuttle.
All right, I'll get us up, and we'll get this shuttle pod moving. All right, so Justice and Melnyuk will retreat from the surface. I guess Romanov, the idea was to have Romanov stay on the planet.
Yeah, head back to where the our diplomat is at Horn, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Was the orders.
She'll just give the layout or give the plan. The three of you stay back here, just in case of reinforcement or support if need be.
Right.
I want no rifles drawn until I give this order to do so. Consider this a tense but diplomatic mission.
To be clear, she's ordering the Makos to stay back.
The two of the four Makos to stay back.
Oh, so you brought down. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Four.
2 Makos.
Sorry, I brought down 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just need to make 1 more. Gotcha. All right. So the 3 Makos are staying back. Marple and Fernir, do you want them along?
I want Marpo along. Sorry, let me make this clear. I'm being very, very unclear. I want 1 Mako to come along with me. 2 Makos to come back to stay behind as support. I want Marpo to come along with me. Romanov is coming with me as well, and I will signal. I'll signal the backup team in about 4 hours or sooner. And then if I am not back at 8, then they are to return back to the ship and leave with the Aegis to human space or friendlier space.
Copy that. Okay, so you get the teams together. I imagine that the 1 Mako has at least a couple phaser rifles slung, or particle rifles at the ready, with an extra 1 tossed towards Romanov's direction.
Thank you.
Yep. So your squad heads back towards the ship and starts making your way.
I did also bring repel gear.
Very good. that opportunity cost has already been paid, so I'll allow for that to be a thing. Yeah, you start trudging through the snow towards the airlock of the crashed ship. Captain, this is your first time seeing it.
Yep. I also want to spend a momentum or 2 momentum to bring, if I have to, but if I don't, I just want to bring sets of the new translator, universal translator.
I'll not force an opportunity spend there. We will have said that was something Crichton expressly prepared for you, and just by virtue of him being the communication officer on the bridge, he was able to work that out.
Yeah.
A soft talent or ability to create advantage.
I don't imagine we have very many of those, and probably have to pull teeth in order to take them, but this seems like the occasion and need so.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, your squad is walking out towards the ship. Marble, this is also your first time seeing the wreck. What it seems to mostly encompass, or the part that is mostly intact, would be the core section. The warp rings that would have surrounded it appear to be rended and strewn about the surface. They were probably clipped off when the vessel crashed. There is also the separate shattered neck of the ship, though some connections apparently still exist between it and the command module. For your part, Sharp, you at least have the briefing to know that this was already investigated, and it seems that the remnants of Captain Baldwin, or his remains were found there.
Okay.
How did anyone survive that?
Luck, if anything else. She looks around. What do I know about, from my own captain security clearance, what do I know about the survivability of insectoids, Indy? Is this kind of place where they could live in? Or
a Class K planet is not particularly good for anybody, or just about any species that is known at the time. It is both extremely cold, and the atmosphere is it is mostly carbon dioxide, so it is just absolutely toxic. The pressure is also quite uncomfortable here. That's the only way that the snow, the dry ice snow, is allowed to form. That combination of really cold temperatures and really high pressure has allowed that to take form here. It's honestly part of the reason that your combat drop was probably a little more unpleasant than usual. But yes, any Class Carol world that is going to be deeply, deeply uninhabitable. The insectoids, even if they had something properly pressurized and had the atmosphere, if the temperature had been allowed to get to them, then that's a pretty quick way to hypothermia.
she just looks around. Almost like Summer in Titan. She says. She looks over to the Mako. How many days did you last in training in your camping trip?
Oh, they didn't put my class through that same Titan run as you guys. That's something for the old cavemen of the bunch, and cave women, Captain.
She just gives a smile through her visor.
Yeah.
Oh, you're missing out.
Is it true that back in the day, all they had you train with were the sticks and rocks, or the 2 sticks and a rock, and that you had to share the rock between the platoon, Captain?
You had to fight for it. She says. Who do you think got the rock more often than not?
Yeah, fair enough. And he's about to say Captain again, but then he uses the
But
proper make
Skipper,
honorific.
we already
Yeah.
Skipper, we already know you rock.
Funny.
As we're walking, I'll show you the layout of the crashed ship and the approximate location of where people were and the direction they headed. So you know what we're heading for.
Yeah, she'll examine it. How structurally sound does it look, just from eyeballing it a little bit from my tactical assessment?
I'll bring up the scans. I've done extensive scans. This thing, that's the reason we were pulled out. We decided it was unsafe as we were coming out. That's when she fell. She was last out.
Yep. Romanov's scans do indeed bear out that this craft is not particularly stable. If it were... Excuse me there. This craft is not particularly stable. It's honestly a surprise that it is as intact as it presently is, or that the atmosphere hasn't compressed it. And indeed, over time, it may well compromise the hull at some point if absent significant maintenance in the future.
Comparing my memory of the layout before versus the layout now, like where exactly did they land on the third floor? And what is possibly open, like what's possibly they open up to or whatever, like what corridors did that lead to?
Roughly somewhere amidship. It's hard to say exactly there. They, like, based on what Romanov scans provide you, there might be like some cargo and engineering spaces that it could stretch down to, like in the lower decks. It's difficult to say. You try to ponder over that as you eventually come to the airlock, and by the time that you have the airlock properly manually cycled and make your way in, you've got a rough idea that they're probably at least 4 decks down at this point, or maybe more like 3 decks down from your position, rather.
Yeah, I show the map as well to my co-mako, since we're all pretty much independents, as it were. I say, all right. As it stands, Romanov, Fournier, I need you, the two of you, start working your way, repairing, at least spot welding, if need be, a more sound pathway from here to the entrance. Anything you can to just simply stability every meter along the way. It just needs to be I don't care about it being completely functional, just need to last at least another hour or two longer.
Right.
If you can.
Yeah, no, this is jury rigging. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, as that conversation continues between the now 5 of you there, I've put Fernier in the scene as well. Horn, as before their radio signals...
I didn't grab Fernier. My bad. I'm sorry, Zach.
That's quite alright. So the signals haven't, or like the audio line is just coming on to you, Marcus. I would ask in that moment where you are alone and waiting for any sign of something from Shira, how would you say that we find the group as they, how would you say the scene finds Marcus as we walk in? Not necessarily speaking to internal feeling, but just demeanor.
Well, I expect when they walk in, they just see the hallway, and Marcus is just in like a nook to the side where he can still look down and see the entrance, but it's not immediately visible from both angles. And when they walk in, he just kind of stands up where he's been crouching and just like, Captain, everything quiet over here.
Horn. That'd be both good and a bad thing. Quite a first field trip for you, isn't it?
Yes. You pick the nicest places.
I try. Any signs that they might be the old guard?
Come again?
Any sign they might be some of the old guard? The insectoids?
I mean, they have been behaving rather friendly, if a bit paranoid. But they also haven't seen a single human.
Which might change the disposition of things. When was the last time you made a communication with the lieutenant commander?
Well, the doctor has managed to bring. Sorry,
Oh,
Sounds like he needs a doctor.
something stuck in my throat. The doctor has brought a point across that he is a medical professional, and they seem very interested in that. And Shira seemed it prudent to rather follow that than to forcefully intervene. Not really much hostility, to be perfectly honest.
Zach,
It's always a
given
good start.
You did say you value diplomacy.
I did indeed, and I am glad to see that the insectoids are following through on it rather than shooting us first.
And thus Xantar has brokered an everlasting peace between the Zindi
Huzzah.
bug races and the humans
Yeah,
in his first mission.
but given the insectoids, I might change on a dime. Fournier, I want you to start working on stabilizing this area in particular. I want a stable base to repel upon and set up as a forward operating base right here. See if you can get the computers running a little bit, even basic functions, but I don't want any other major systems activated just in case of any backup systems or machinery further compromising this place. Romanov, you're going to come with me, Miss Marple as well. Horn. And then I just look over to the Mako, which I'll just make it Lamar. Why not? Or name the guy. Say, Lamar, I want you here for the current moment, but then I want you about down to the third floor as an observer, just in case.
I got you. I'll start getting the gear hooked up so that we can rappel on down.
Great. All right, let's get to work. She'll start grabbing all the rappel gear that she's been carrying along with everything else, handing over a translator and rifles to or handing over a translator and rifle to Horn.
Thank you.
And and then she'll signal communication private channel to Shira and say, Lieutenant Commander Shira, please respond.
I am going to spend some threat in order to jam that signal for now.
Okay. Yeah, but she'll just continue and say, Eula, respond. I'm getting no signal. Romanov, see if you can work on that.
Yeah, I'll start working on it.
All right.
Do you want me to roll or?
I'm just that was just a vague we got no communication. It's a jam right now. Let's get working on that when you can.
Yeah, we'll just say that between the rappel gear and the signaling, you are going to
Keep you busy.
Yeah, basically. And we'll let that scene pass for now.
Mhm.
In the meantime, the on the very lowest of decks that, or like at the bottom of the area that has been opened up, you have since Xantar and Shira, you have been brought down into a lower bit of corridor, and you are. Here, let me just move some things around. So we're going to place you right about. Let's put you here at the moment. Okay, let me just move that around. You have descended to what is the lowest accessible deck from the access point. The Zindi are in the process of unhooking you, and you are freed from the constraints. You have solid deck plating underneath your feet again for the first time in a while. Everybody is that much happier to not be over a large pit.
Right.
Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Yes. Thank you for taking us down here, she'll say to the Cindy, not expecting anyone to understand her, but it can't hurt to be polite. She'll also attempt to radio back to Horn, which I assume, of course, ends in static.
It does indeed. You find that there is some sort of interference on this level, which is making communication extremely difficult.
Okay, that's annoying. That's probably gonna cause Colonel Sharp an aneurysm. All right. Well, let's see what they want, Xantar.
Yes, Commander.
If
Xantar.
if things get if things go wrong, you flee. I'll hold them off.
Very well, sir. Xantar just quickly checks to make sure his suit hasn't been ruptured, and no damages to it.
Yep. Your slightly hurried check does not show any signs of breaches.
Excellent. After which he would like to get out his tricorder. Can't remember what they're called, tricorders. But at the moment he'd like to scan for life signs down here.
Ooh, boy, and how. All right.
Indeedy.
So I will say, as you attempt your scan, you are being pressed along. I will ask for a reason plus science roll with a difficulty of 2.
Lovely. Reason. Have we got that right?
Let's
There we
make
are.
this visible as we go.
Success.
So, yep, with 2 successes, you find that there is indeed quite a bit of life active down here. The biomass signatures that you're picking up show signs of, for one thing, signs of, like, various mold and algae type growths that would suggest basically
Agricultural?
yes.
Yeah, so they've been using that to sustain themselves here.
Yep. There are also no shortage of other insectoids, and as you properly, as you look through the scan, you also realize your earpiece is picking up a lot more of these sort of background sounds of chitters, clicks, steady movements. You even see, as you round this next corner here, it would be on Shira's side, actually. But one slightly shorter insectoid, comes around and is practically a jump scare type situation. Yeah. It just, pops out, and here, I'll just make all these guys visible.
Oh, it's a colony.
Yes, and it seems that they seem to be thriving here quite well.
They
I see a lot of signs of agricultural advancement.
Yes, but they must be aware the ship is on its arse legs, right?
They continue to press
Perhaps
along.
perhaps they don't know that.
Xantar, as you approach along, you're looking through the scan. I'll say first off, there is a little more exterior illumination, a few lights that actually seem to be up. As far as what the insectoids are doing here, you see them tending about numerous duties. They appear to be like moving through the this cargo bay and rearranging things. They have near what appears to be the entrance to another chamber. They have arrayed a bit more sort of heavy materials. They are scraping through to see if they can uncover various objects. Let's just move through there. And they are approaching what appears to be at the very edge of, or like at the opposite end of the cargo bay. Let me move the camera. There is a final door, and this is, as you were closing the distance, presented a bit of interference of some sort. Or there's like some sort of there's a lot of power being routed through this section. Though your medical, the type of scan you were doing for biosigns is not precisely equipped to tell you exactly what that is doing. But what it does tell you is that there is a human biosign on the other end of that doorway.
As I'm doing so, as we're going through, I have to say, Commander, they seem to have made use of whatever resource they had. Commander,
Yes.
I'm picking up another life sign, a human life sign.
Interesting. Must be one of the original crew.
Must be.
Yep. As you close the distance, further buzzing of their wings emitting shrill noises seems to gain attention, and there is a steady increase to where all of the insects, or all the insectoids begin to buzz loud and emit something simultaneous. The doorway opens, and stepping through.
Two shall enter, one shall leave.
All right. Hold your horses. What's going on here? All right.
Hi.
Brandon.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Yulashira of the starship Aegis.
I'm Xanta.
Dr. Xanta, you can use the...
Dr. Xanta.
You are a doctor, right? You just sounded very...
Oh, no,
unsure that
absolutely.
you are-
It's
you
just,
are-
I'm not sure how human protocols really...
Yeah, I know they're strange.
Do I
But
count as a nurse? Am I a doctor? Like, am I...
you're... Doctor, there's a distinction
Medical
between...
assistant.
Even in Andorian society, there's a distinction between nurse and... You're a doctor.
I'm aware, but for some reason in human society, that the nurses seem to do a lot more than the doctors. It's very unusual.
Okay, sorry, yes. Hi. Yes,
So,
we are from the Aegis.
Just to set some context here, as the entire time that Xantar and Shira's conversation pings back and forth, a tall, very gaunt, very heavily bearded man just stops and freezes before the two of you. His clothes somewhat tattered. He's wearing a short sleeve shirt, very thin sort of arms. As his eyes just go wide and they ping pong between the two of you. And he raises his arm. He raises a hand, two fingers pointing out as if to interject with something.
Yes, sorry.
The conversation continues. He just smiles a moment. Oh, well, yes. His, eyes roll into the back of his skull, and he faints.
Doctor.
Yep.
Yep, and as he falls to his side, the Zindi flap their wings and chitter in alarm as, the the whole world becomes a buzz-filled chaos. And I think that that is where we should cap off today's session.
No!
Oh shit!
It's all going well. This is fine.
Why did you kill him?
We talked him to death.
He was shocked that I tried to make a distinction between doctor and nurse.
I have done nothing of the sort yet. But anyway.
For now.
Yeah. So we will come back with this next Saturday. And that actually reminds me of the one note that I forgot to include in my script at the start here. So I am going to say, first and foremost, that for those joining us here in the archive, this is where we will leave you off. But I have 2 points to end on. The first would be, for those that want to catch this live, you can join us Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/GM of the Great Barrier. All relevant links are down in the description of the video. And for everyone here, both in the archive and in the live Twitch, I will say this has been this month has been it's one I've not been as active on, I will admit, and I lament that. But it's also, in particular, it's been it's marked something of a anniversary, because this is just about, I think we're approaching a year now, or rather 2 years, since we have been broadcasting these games. Aegis premiered, I think, either end of February or beginning of March. Back in 2021, or 22 rather. So it's definitely been a long road, but this road keeps going for some time. It's also been over a year since we ran as an affiliate, so
It took a long time to get from there to here.
It did do that. Yes. All the memes, all the Russell Watson.
And our time is finally near.
That's eventually just going onto the soundboard. I'm steadily becoming more proficient with all of the things that make the streams look and sound fancy. At some point, I'll work in the music as well. Once I figure out all the royalty-free elements. But the point is that I am very thankful for everyone that comes to these streams, that comes and joins us for these videos. You help make the channel possible. I try to do it anyway as a hobby, but it's nice to have everybody along for the ride. So thank you all for sticking through. I'm hoping first that outside circumstances stop making this as difficult, so that we can go back to more regular games for Broken Sword, as well as going back to keeping Aegis as regular as possible. But yeah, thank you all, and we will catch you later on, both for this and for Broken Sword. Speaking of that game, my final point here would be to bring up that we are going to try and hold our next session on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those that can join. Just as a brief little reminder. So that is airing on Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And as a quick summation, we will be going into part 2 of the episode Kulpu Jodach Yelech, which has the crew of Theon finding refuge on a world held by the House of Cord, that of the captain's house, but they find that all is not well as a dispute within the family begins to arise. So we hope that you will stick with us through that, and that you will we'll look forward to seeing you next time. But for those in the archive, this is where we leave off. So till then, have a good, we hope you enjoyed, and take care.